Hey Taurus, welcome to your session. Hey Taurus, I just wanted to go ahead and say make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Ring the bell. Also, one more thing, we're doing these readings again because I am probably going to be out until July and for personal sessions because they found it's due to medical reasons, but it's a non-malignant tumor, which is good. Downside is they have to do surgery on it because it's affecting my mobility. So they are taking it out on the 20th, which means I can't do readings because I actually don't know the recovery time on it. So that's why I'm saying July 1st. If anything changes in terms of me taking personal sessions, paid sessions, I will let y'all know if I can do it sooner. So make sure to, that's why I say, make sure to ring the bell, join me on TikTok. You can follow me there at Artisan Tarot. I'll drop it down in the description box, but it's like 4233 is my username. I will not be doing any readings at that time, but I will be resting and recuperating. So this reading is going to take you all the way from June to the first week in July. And let's go ahead and get started. And also, if you would like to help support me during this time so I can pay that medical bill, please tip me. The tip link is down in the description box below. I also have content on Patreon from April to May. You may go back and look at those readings. And I have content in terms of an oracle card reading. If you want to learn rites, rituals, spell work, incantations, that I give you the channeled messages and I teach you step by step, walking through certain rituals and whatnot for those cards and what you're meant to learn from them. Please go to Patreon and check those out. Now let's go ahead, Taurus, and get into your dragon oracle messages. Taurus, it's been a hell of a month, and it's like, I know you guys are kind of tired, very tired, babes. I understand my the full moon in Scorpio was happening at the same time of this Mercury retrograde in your sign, which is a 7th house partnership of mine. So it's like, I get it. You know, I had a lot to work out on partnerships and dealings, not just with romance, but with people, you know, how I treat them and how they treat me and my views of that. And Mercury is, when he's retrograde, he's tricky, tricksterish, but he has a purpose. He has an enlightening way about him that makes you realize, oh, once Mercury goes direct, how you want to move forward. And I know I told y'all this is going to be a doozy month. I said it, right? I said it last month. If you're new to the channel, go back and watch May's reading. Because I told y'all, like, just to rest, take time to rest. Don't do too much. And I'm glad I told y'all, like, as far as entertainment advice goes, that advice. And honestly, I even followed it myself because, you know, I love how we're about to get right out of retrograde, and guess who gets diagnosed with a non-malignant tumor? Literally day before we go, Mercury goes direct. I was like, man, Mercury always gets the last laugh on me, man. Like every freaking retrograde. I can't, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, man, I could stay home and he'll cause the power, you know, like it could be like a freak thing where the power goes out for 6 hours, you know, but it's like that kind of stuff. I'm like, man, I can't win for losing with Mercury retrograde, because that's what he does. He tries to teach you that, like, you can't control things, and things are beyond our control that are like they're in his sphere of influence, and it's time to like reflect on why you try to do those things. Like what makes you try to control XYZ, right? Or what makes you go to this pattern? He has an important job, even though it's very disruptive, it still provides insight and solutions. So give me just a second while I keep shuffling. Okay, hold on. I got 3 cards here. Perfect. Okay, and we have 2 more cards here. Give me just a second, y'all, while I do these Dragonfae readings. I'm going to pull 2 cards for the end because so far, week 1, week 2, we're good. So let's see what week 3 and 4 have for us. The Dragonfae. How can we turn the fire and earth dragon in the upright for Taurus energy? And honestly, Taurus, I would tell you, this is one of those times where it's like you're still coming out of this shaky kind of situation. So take your time with it still. We've got 2 weeks before Mercury goes direct, technically, like fully in full. He's already direct now, but it's a slow process for him to go direct. Just take it slow. And hold on one second. Oh, that's not a blessing. Hold on. I'm sorry. That's not a blessing. That's something a lesson you're not ready for. Give me a second here. Oh, okay. Oh, there's one. Okay, we're not taking the reverse ones. Just reversals with the Dragonfae deck is more or less like with the Dragon Oracle deck. It's like, okay, you've got to unlock something to embrace that card. This is what you use to unlock. This is the key. But when these cards are in reverse, that means you're not ready to hear that yet. You're either that or it's not open. That pathway is not open to you. So give me a second here. Show me for Taurus for the dragon, solar golden dragon. What is the message for Taurus from the Dragonfae? Oh, well, apparently there's a lot there. Okay, let's see. Did we get any direct cards? Yes, at the bottom. Okay, we'll take that. So, oh, I love these two cards. Okay, so here's the deal, Taurus. I have in the beginning, bottom of the deck, we got Pendragon. Woo, woo. I love seeing that guy. He's actually divine masculine. So we're going to get into it in just a second here, but very first week of June, we have the Alpha Dragon, harnesses the divine masculine power of creation. Destroy the old, visualize your dream, help to manifest a new world. You know, I don't know if you've heard a lot about the new earth thing going around. That's honestly been around at least for the last 6 years, maybe a little longer, since Dolores Cannon's work. If you don't know what I am talking about or referencing to, there are plenty of people who have posted. Dolores Cannon's channel herself, I believe, is still going. Unfortunately, she's no longer with us and is deceased. But Dolores Cannon like tapped into people's past lives and different timelines and dimensions through it was a type of hypnosis that she did. And in this process, she kept hearing about these channelings from different beings, different guides, different patients that when they were under hypnosis about this new earth. So definitely go and research that. In fact, Ralph Smart, Infinite Waters guy on YouTube, he posted a video about the new earth, about the signs of it coming. And that's kind of interesting when I see this pop up, because that is the third time that you know, perspective has been confirmed, at least within the last week for me. So just letting you guys know, this Alpha Dragon, now this is actually divine energy. Again, divine masculine. Alpha and Omega essentially are divine feminine, divine masculine, but this is definitely divine masculine. This is about channeling this again into a very higher perspective of consciousness, where you're not only choosing how to act, which makes sense because the full moon in Sagittarius is happening this month, which is fire energy, which is masculine, and also the wisest of the fire signs. So again, we kind of have this energy coming through the very first week of June, setting you up really nice, honestly. Taurus, even though there's been a lot of destruction and chaos and madness, Sagittarius is almost coming in to balance you out because of everything that happened with the full moon and your retrograde, which is really nice. So that's why I say ease into it. This kind of energy, when it's tired and it can't work anymore and it knows it has to rest. So it eases into things. It reaches, but doesn't maybe take action all the way totally just yet. But that doesn't mean that it won't in the future. Now that Mercury's direct, you have much better chances at moving things forward. Also, second week, I've got the Rose Pink Dragon. Now, Taurus, this prepares your heart to connect with higher facets of the cosmic heart. Open your heart to warm-hearted love and diamond light. Connect with the love of the universe. Okay, so this energy is coming through because this is a type of unconditional universal love that the collective spirit, our ancestors, give to us in the other realms. they pass it on. This is the kind of love I think we all aspire to find in our lives and in our lifetimes, but we never really truly get up to it. But this also comes from a space of acceptance, because when we are accepted and we accept others as they are for what they are in that moment, it's almost like a peace washes over you and you are able to transmute into and eventually become into something better, because you have been accepted, because you are not being pushed to be something that you're not, or coerced, and when I mean coerced, I'm talking about manipulated, lied, cheated, dragged into situations that you were innocent of knowing any knowledge of, but people set it up behind the scenes to corner you or, do things like that. There's a difference between conditional and unconditional love, and anything that is conditional would be like manipulation, blatant manipulation for that person's self-interest, not yours. Okay, not for the betterment of both involved. That's the difference. And so the good thing is June totally set up good for the first 2 weeks. Now, the work that you're going to have to experience, and honestly, you can channel this Pendragon article. I was going to say this Pendragon energy into these first 2 weeks, because look, you have the divine masculine twice, and then you have the feminine, and then you're like, but where's the divine feminine? You have her 3 times with Titania and Lady Igraine, or Lady Grain, but sometimes they used to call her Igraine. So the cool part about all of this is you have divine feminine 3 times, which it's almost like spirit is coming through to give you that extra divine feminine healing and push, because honestly, the divine feminine went through a lot in Taurus season. It is a Venus ruled sign, and we had a lot of masculine energies stirring things up, causing trouble, trying to take freedom away from her. And the divine feminines were not having it, as rightly so. They shouldn't, not in this day and age, not to be dragged back into the Middle Ages and the 18th century. Sorry, no. The whole point of the new earth is about moving forward and engaging in a universe where we are all treated with respect. We have our rights, we have our freedom, but we treat each other with kindness and compassion, ideally, and protection for one another. And we help each other keep our rights and whatnot. And that's where it's like this universal cosmic love just does kind of come into play a little bit harder because of that. Now, again, week 3 is where you're going to have to do the work. Now, this is where the Dragonfae come into play here, because we have Titania. Now, Titania in this book is one of the Fae queens. She's a Fae queen of the night, of dreams, but she is also, according to the author, associated with not just dreams, but in the nighttime, but she technically is a goddess and is a Titan herself. So hence Titania, the name. So she is a Titaness. She's been there after the primordial beings and after the goddesses, but she is also considered a goddess herself. And this is where she helps you step and be accepting into your divine feminine power, whether you're a masculine Taurus or a feminine Taurus. This is about light, laughter, joy, playfulness, love, sensuality, and sexuality as well, but coming from the divine feminine perspective. Goddesses that the book listed was Titania herself, Isis, Aphrodite, Diana, because this is also, since this is an evening thing, this also is moon. But again, feminine energies, feminine goddesses of the evening, Freya, Fig as well. So here's the funny part. Once you embrace the Titania card, you will then be able to embrace and open the doorway to the earth and fire dragon, which means for you, Taurus, grounding down in your sign is going to be kind of hard this month. And you're like, well, what do you mean? Well, trying to do everything the Taurinian way of doing things might not work while you're trying to unlock all this. So the best way to embrace this divine feminine energy of magic, intuition, light, love, earth elements is by also using that Sagittarian full moon. So you're going to need to use either placements in your natal chart that have to do with Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, whether that be the couple of houses, whatever they are. Usually, let's see, for you, you also need to do Virgo. I would usually suggest Capricorn, but for you, I don't think that's going to work. Just because right now, where everything is going on in Capricorn, Taurus, it's a hot mess too, because you have Pluto making you go through shadow. And he's already made you go through shadow, but now you have Saturn in there, and Saturn and Pluto are sitting there dealing out karma. One is wheeling it, the other one is physically dealing it on us all. And it's going to be like that for 6 months. So instead, I want you to look and see karmically what you've paid off with your Capricorn placement and or your 10th house, and see if there's anything that might influence Capricorn. If not, then I would say, okay, try to bring that Capricorn energy in. If that doesn't work, you definitely could use Leo. You could use Leo, because Leo is the sun, and you would be able to shine a light on your 10th house in terms of activation and using that love and romance energy to really bring things in the 3D through love and unconditional love energy of the divine feminine. That actually might work for you, Taurus. But the other thing is, you also have to work on what the Lady Grain says, open your heart. Now, it's funny because she is also a goddess of solar energy. And she is a heart opening light goddess in terms of the sun, grain, moving things forward. She obliterates negative energies, which is like what I like working about with her. But she also reminds me to go and have fun, or to, if I'm not allowed to go and have fun, what is stopping me from enjoying myself? You see what I'm saying? Am I letting others stop me, or is it my schedule? And then I learn from that. And the beauty of working with Lady Grain is she's also kind of quiet. Like you know how most fire sign energy is like, boom, I'm in your face. Hey, baby, you know, like that kind of, I'm very saggy in some of my placements. So it's like, I have that energy. And sometimes, you know, solar energy also knows when to be quiet, when to just be in the sun, not say a word. Just take in those rays, you know, and feel it and feel bathed in it and to feel good in it and just relaxed. And this is, I think, that energy kind of coming in at the end of June, going into July, helping you to finally come out of the damage. I feel like Mercury retrograde was the TikTok for you of emotional damage. I really feel like it was like that for you guys. And I'm so sorry if it was. I don't mean to laugh. I know it's kind of not funny for you, but it's like eventually in time, the things that went down, they're serious, but hopefully we will look back and laugh. Right now, we're still kind of in serious mode. We're still mulling them over, as we should be. And she is also a goddess that is serious too, but she knows when it's okay to let your hair down and have fun. And I think, Taurus, you'll finally be able to do that. And when you do, at the end of June going into July, you will then be able to use the golden solar dragon's energy and embrace it fully and its wisdom, which is helps you to stand in your masculine power with wisdom. So again, we have to work on the divine masculine, to then work on the divine feminine, to then embrace the divine feminines and their sphere of influence from water to earth elements, and then to go back to gaining the wisdom of the divine masculine with that Sagittarian full moon. So it's like how funny. I love how these readings work out. But it also is talking about, okay, so this talks about DNA being reprogrammed and light codes activated, become an inspired leader. So I don't know if a lot of you know about light codes. It's a thing in the spiritual community. And it basically, what it says, this theory goes, is that our DNA has ancestral light codes, meaning like the psychic abilities you could be born with, or just even abilities, genetics, physicality, yes, but it goes beyond that, because your DNA also has your memories from your past life, that because they're a part of you. So basically, when you begin to activate those and you begin to wake up and you really start to come into your power, like you're just barely starting, they start to activate, your body changes, you shift, the planet shifts, like it's like everything kind of shifts all at once. but very slowly, because this is going to be an intense process. Once you start to activate your light codes, you're going to be probably a little bit tired more. I know I was when it happened to me, but as far as physicality goes, that changes, but it changes when your environment changes. And it depends on where you are when your light codes are activated. And because you are the second house of the home, and I know I'm noticing there's a lot of talk of homelessness right now, and you are the sign of home and inner security, that if you are having difficulties finding a home, and one, Uranus is in your sign, he's about to go retrograde, and it doesn't mean he caused homelessness, but there's a restless kind of energy in that area of your home life that I think for you right now, this activation of the divine masculine is coming through to rebalance it, of course, and stabilize it for the next 6 months. But in between that, you're trying to find your comfort level and your comfort zone. And right now, you're not comfortable. Honestly, everything got destroyed. What in the heck would make you feel comfortable? Nothing. You're looking for that security blanket right now. And there is nothing wrong with that. These energies know that in order for us to feel like we can move forward, we have to have a sense of safety or feel safe. And honestly, since this homelessness talk is coming up more and more, and knowing where Uranus is and he's going to go retrograde, that's going to become even more important in terms of the forefront of discussion with this card in particular, because since everything is dealing, and I'm talking about only for your sign, because again, you guys are the sign of the physical home. Collectively, you guys may either be moving house, you may be having to move back to a place that you thought you would leave behind forever, or you're going to have to start somewhere new during a Uranus retrograde with Saturn retrograde at the same time in Capricorn with Pluto there. And Neptune will be going retrograde as well this summer. So best believe this is going to be a very emotional summer for a lot of people. But I feel like for you, Taurus, Mercury going retrograde was just the beginning, because you're going to be asked to deal with all of this in your home life, or you're going to see the world kind of crumble and you're going to go more and more into your home. You're good, because that's where you feel safe. That's where you feel like you can just decompress to process what's going on before you go back out into the world to make a plan to then move forward. To me, it makes sense. To some people, they don't do that. A Sagittarius doesn't do that. A Sagittarius has a game plan. They have their eye on the prize. They let that arrow go when they know the target is in sight. And so for you guys, it's a little different. You guys plan to get the target in sight. You're normally not used to the target just lining up and having that opportunity. But I'm telling you, Taurus, this month, those opportunities are going to just line up, because it's time, because it has to do with your 8th house. Sagittarius is your 8th house of legacy. For me, the 8th house is not only legacy, but life, sex, death, rebirth, renewal. And that full moon isn't just going to be emotional like Scorpio was. It's going to bring about cosmic order and balance. That is desperately needed right now on this plane of existence. We all really need it, truthfully. And the astrology behind it is only going to make it that much more powerful, and they will play on each other. So best believe when I tell you that they're going to be powerful in the sense of what you learn how to behave, how you learn, you may be even forced to adapt, especially if you've had difficulty getting housing and you've had to adapt before. You might have to do that again. Hold on, there's a card that fell down. Give me a second here. This is your fairy blessings. Oh, a fairy blessing of what's going to help you this whole month. So you got the gift of the green, a blessing of the green. Now, this is a little bit different because most of the green cards have to do with like growth or something like this. This has to do with inner growth, but also I'm going to read from the book because I know there's something in here that it talks about, but I'm not really great at expressing this because I'm still working with this card. Like I'm even still gaining insights from it. So hang on just a second here because it talks about, oh, give me a minute. Sorry, I do work with these cards too, guys. So I'm like, excuse me while we ignore my lessons. Let's go to yours. Okay. it also talks, I think this is the one about like fairy energy and fairy blood. Okay, yeah, this is the one, because this is a blessing of the green. The gift of the green energy of the fairies is fairies. So your own fairy blood is summoned and stirred. So I wanted to read that because this card is special. So if you come from a culture that is highly connected to the Fae and the Fae realm, or is Celtic, or is Irish, maybe even Anglo-Saxon, and or, you know, Vikings, they had Fae too, or even certain indigenous cultures have been known to have encounters with the Fae as well. And their blood, sometimes the Fae mix with humans, and there's, you know, fairy blood. I kind of feel like True Blood really was a real like hidden message about that, but nobody believed it. I thought it was, you know, just a really great storyline. But when you start working with the Fae, you kind of realize how really interconnected we are to them, because we share this plane of existence with them. They just keep themselves veiled because we're so savage. I made a joke on someone's TikTok about like how Earth is ghetto. Earth is the ghetto, like the higher life forms avoid us. And I was like, yeah, man, the Fae even cloak themselves from us because we're so savage. Like they know. That's why any you know, ET race out there that would come after us would have to be either really colossal or really stupid, because like they don't know what they're getting. We're too hood, you know, like we're hood. And people were like, oh my God, that's so funny. So accurate though, you know, like they were saying that. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, come on, we're super hood. Like they'd have to be like, they would have to be just as hood to want to come here, if you know what I'm saying. Which honestly, there's the whole Galactic Council, which goes back to what I've been talking about light codes, life paths, contracts. This whole reading kind of is about that. If any guide or ET were to come and not only make contact but try to conquer, they would enact the whole Galactic Council. It would be a big problem. Like other beings from other timelines and realms would have to step in, unless we go around picking fights. I don't think they will, but they still, the divine will have to intervene. Now, why is this important? Because when we're talking about Fae blood and light codes and DNA, the Fae have a connection to Gaia that is uncanny. And in fact, I love this card because it reminds me of where not only your ancestors and where you come from, but the fact that you do have a special connection to the Fae. You have fairy blood in you that is waiting to help you boost not only your abilities, but also you may be able to establish newer abilities using fairy energy. And or if you're working on foresight, or you're trying to work on your psychic ability, the Fae are excellent at that. They are excellent at predicting what is to come in the future. They're able to tap into that. You'll be able to work in the astral realm a little bit better. You might even have more power over it than others because of the fairy blood. And also you might be able to travel dimensions while you sleep a little bit smoother than most people. So there is that. Now, when you want to work on this, what do? I always tell y'all, we contact the goddess Freya and we ask and invoke her help to send us Fae from the Sealy Court, from the blessing of the green Fae to come in. Now, the book talks about some things to note in fairy blood, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about it in terms of ancestry and how this also has to do with being a part of the woods, because that's where the Fae come from technically, and also kinship, not only to like their kin, their Fae kin, but to the land again, because like I said, they're highly interconnected with Gaia. This card says, when you are blessed with the green, you too are taken into the memories of the world, so that you understand that you are a part of her, and that a blessed life is about coming into relationship with the green energy that flows all about us when we connect to the realm of the fairy. Very true. It is said that those beloved of the Fae have green auric fields, wear green, or have green eyes, or you may have like hints of green in your undertones of your eyes. Even brown people. Like when I say brown people, I mean brown-eyed people. Like if you have hazel eyes, I actually do, and mine actually do. They are underlined green at times, and sometimes they change to hazel. They turn to yellow like honey. So they're not always just brown. So note that. You might even have like a special shape in your eye or something like that near the iris or your pupil. Just kind of depends. And it says, or you have green eyes. That they have about them is the gift of the green, and they are children of the fairies, as so many of the humans are. You have received this blessing, so your own fairy energy, which lies within you, can be stirred and summoned and rise to expression, so that you may come back to a sense of akin to the fairies and an ally to the natural world. When this blessing comes to you, wear green, encourage the growth of plants, care for animals, and tend the flowers. Consider making a simple offering to the Fae, and your blessing will be threefold. For anyone who wants to make an offering to the Fae, I would recommend asking and invoking the goddess Freya to be with you when you do this. What I do is they like milk and honey, but what I did this time was I actually offered them a honey cake during Mercury retrograde, and I gotta be honest, it was a pretty smooth retrograde till the end. So I barely had any hiccups. Maybe the last week was a little tumultuous, but not too bad. But I did that. But if you can't do a honey cake, do milk and honey. It's easier, and you just take it to a crossroads, and you don't even have to say it out loud. If you don't know what a crossroads is, it's an intersection. It's an intersection. I do it in a neighborhood where there is a stop sign, and I wait till there are no cars. I can sense when it's going to be a good time, and I will, think this is for the Fae. I put that energy in that glass, and I say, as I pour it on the crossroads, this is an offering to the Fae of the Sealy Court and the goddess Freya, who is with me and who helps me work with the Fae. And I just dump it in the middle of the crossroads, and then I leave, and I do not turn my back. Do not turn your back to look to see who's coming behind you. Even if you hear someone calling your name, don't do it, because that is an energy that you don't, it might be trickstery. That's why we ask and invoke Freya to come in for protection. But the reason you don't look when you give an offering is it's a sign of respect when you leave offerings to energetic beings. Okay, so that is that, Taurus. I know that that was a quicker reading than everybody else, but very informative. I was genuinely surprised. But hey guys, I gotta go because I gotta do Scorpio's reading next. Wish me luck. Because they had the full moon in their sign, and I know they're probably hella tired. So we're gonna see how that goes. If you again would like to support me, hey, head over to Patreon. Make sure to tip me. The links are down in the description box below. And like, share, and subscribe. I love you all. I will see you in hopefully July. We're gonna see how things go with my surgery, and then after that, we'll figure it out from there. I love y'all so much, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.